5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
At 15 seconds, guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo. Now, I'm sure that most of you know the old story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence. Join us on this journey to find the others. Because no matter where we find ourselves in this multiverse, the act of existing is all too familiar.
Guys? Is anybody out there? Hello?
The mushroom has a tremendous problem-solving ability.
Herb is a plant. Herbs are good for everything.
As we look across this great expanse and stare at the stars, we can't help but be reminded these lights, though we're seeing them all at the same time, happen across a multi-billion-year delta. Some of those fires burned millions of years ago, some billions, but all of them happened so we could experience them in this one singular moment.
They called us scouts. They called us seekers. They called us Hoosier. But we were destined to question everything.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
Oh, welcome to a surprise edition of Hoosier Sophisticate here on a lovely Halloween Eve.
We don't need anyone.
We had a bit of a debacle on our hands on Monday.
We don't need anyone is what we're proving to you guys tonight, okay?
We need nobody. We just figured we'd give everybody a taste. Trying to make up... it's not for them even. It's not for them, Steve.
No,
it's
you've been wearing
us.
it. You've been wearing
It's about us.
But you're a big league closer. That's the best thing I like about you.
Give me the fucking ball, coach.
You'll remember that, you got that home run hit off.
I cannot groove that.
Guess what? It's in the back of your head, but I'll never hear about it again.
Nope.
Just because you'll be like, oh, guess what? You want to do it tomorrow? You want me to put me back in the game? I'll start tomorrow.
Now. Yeah, I'll give you 9. I'll give you 9 innings.
Exactly.
Yeah, you used to me throwing 20, 25 pitches. I'll throw 125 pitches.
I got no
Prove a
problems
point.
about shit.
Not at all.
No, I mean, coming over tonight, we figured out a bunch of new things. We got a little soundboard. You want to hit them with? Just pick one. Oh, Screech. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but we found a soundboard and we got it hooked up on this machine, and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves right now. It's nice.
It's just one of those things where what's the only variable that we really can't control here, Steve?
I hope this one doesn't suck, says Brian Kessler.
Yeah, well,
that's cool.
Yeah, well,
we appreciate it.
Chat's not showing the messages on there.
Yeah, I know.
Care.
I don't care. Just hey, we got most of this figured out. Are we still on?
No doubt. We are still on, which is that we're that much further ahead. I think that you even said it. You feel a little naked when we're not streaming live.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not sure. We're gonna just try a little. We're gonna try a little project here. We're gonna come live to you guys, 20 minutes, maybe tell a funny story.
We're gonna come live all over.
Come
you guys.
live. It's a cam show. You can Cash App at Hoosier Sophisticate. Whatever you think we're worth.
You want to see my Adam's apple, you hookers?
And then we want to play around with the idea of what would happen if we recorded the show and yet debuted it live. How would you guys feel about that?
Oh, Restream's just not showing Brian's.
Oh,
that's
even
perfect.
better.
Good job, Restream.
That's
Thank
even
you.
better. We got Hank the Tank. He said it sounds great.
Hank the Tank, my dude.
No doubt. So we figure we would just let you guys know that we're going to try a couple different things. How much do you care that we're live? Would it be cool for us to record a show and then be able to participate live in the chat with you? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we
know.
can do a little bit of everything.
Both.
Yeah,
a little bit of
both. I'm into it.
I'm into it.
That's my favorite thing. Hey, we got to clip that off and put it in the stream.
I'm into it.
I'm into it.
I'm into it.
And who said I'm not sure what you're not?
I think
into.
it was Hank the Tank. Actually, he goes, "Is there anything that you're not into?" I haven't found it yet. Oh, actually, I did. I found my limits. There was a African American dominatrix in Brooklyn who made all of her rich white bankers read. Actually, no, I'm into that too. Now that I think about it, it's kind of hot.
When you started to explain it,
just watching. I'm like, no, she's making rich. She's making like Chesterfieldians. I like to alienate as many of the municipalities in the greater St. Louis metro as I possibly can.
That reminds me of some awesome shirt ideas and a shirt contest we got coming up. We wanted to do neighborhoods, a series of neighborhood shirts in St. Louis.
I love
that's
that.
a great,
we talked about making
stereotypes and good and bad about all of our neighborhoods here in
all
St.
the
Louis.
old CYC mascot T-shirts.
Totally, all those. Each neighborhood has maybe a molecule. We have a T-shirt contest going down
right now.
Right now,
you submit it. You're
Yes.
going to win a CBD package if we don't think that you're garbage.
Yeah, I know. I have a feeling though we're not.
We've seen how it goes with the roasts. We've got like maybe two,
We've grown since then. We've grown. We got.
We've got
people.
some.
Come
Listen,
on, guys.
I honestly, I think today was the first time. I couldn't tell you in how long that I've posted like on my actual personal page on Facebook. Because honestly, when I come to Facebook anymore, it is only to communicate.
Come on Facebook.
It's only to communicate with the Sophisticated Hoosiers. I really do love what the groups become.
For sure.
Everything that's in there is all I really want. Typically, I find myself getting more annoyed when I venture outside of the group.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Our
Which
group
is kind of cool.
so much different than the rest of the internet. You even referenced a different group that we're both a part of today. And how ridiculous. I'm sorry. But this guy said it was going to.
I'm sure he's a sweet guy.
And he's the sweetest. And I'm sure he's the sweetest human being alive.
Totally.
I'm sure he's great.
Totally.
But he's under the impression that a Christmas tree holder is going to change your fucking life. And when I read your quote of, I'm sorry, maybe I'm
gonna be a little thick here.
Maybe I'm that guy. But if that changes your life,
buddy, it's just I think about the things that maybe the rest of we talk about all the time, taking things for granted that we think are common knowledge.
Yep.
That is especially so. Maybe it's a victim of echo chamber kind of, but at the same time, when I see what other
arrest that guy with the tree.
Arrest him. When I see, like what some people sweat or what they feel are inconveniencing them in the world, I just realize, and there's room for all of us. We're all just different lenses of the cosmos experiencing itself and learning what. It's just amazing to me in these third dimensional little, meat suits that we're wearing, these little Halloween costumes that we're wearing right now. The shit that even is a blip on people's radar. I've never thought about a Christmas tree stand longer than, you turn the screws on the wood.
Hey, which one's the cheapest one possible made by slaves in some country I don't have to think about tomorrow?
You got anything that's been made in Senegal? I heard they're on special. The Senegalese Christmas tree stands. Great.
They love Christmas.
They
in
love
Senegal.
Christmas there, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
No, it's a prop, so it's actually a great idea. So instead of screwing it in, you push or pull a lever down.
It's a great idea. It's a
and it
foot
pulls
press.
it in.
It's a foot deal. So
Yeah.
when you set your
and
tree
you found
in
out
there,
he's an artificial tree guy.
well, no, I conflated a couple of comments
Okay.
because when I went back and read it because I was like, wait a minute, did I read that right? Because what's going on here?
What is the deal?
I'm sure the guy's a sweetheart.
He
and
seems like an absolute sweet. I want to go on record saying he seems like a sweetheart.
seems like an absolute. Well, first off,
And he's trying to help people. He was honestly trying to help people. That's what we got to
helping people.
understand.
And on top of that, like the thing that he is choosing to put out there is like something that brings joy to
Exactly.
millions of homes
The most
throughout
insufferable
the world.
cunts are just trying to bring a little joy, and you're like, oh, fuck me.
Christmas trees,
What life am I living?
motherfucker.
But I tell you what.
Did you know that in fucking Rolla they took a gal's weed because they still don't know the like? This
Oh
is
my
where I'm
God.
living.
Exactly.
This
That's
is
the
where
problem,
I'm
though.
living.
When I got too much into the conspiracy theories, when I got too much into like the 9/11 and Zeitgeist and all those movies for a while, Loose Change and all that shit, I started to lose touch with everybody because everyone's like, hey, man, how is this the soccer match? And I'm like, oh, World Trade 7? Like every time. I just couldn't get off it.
Couldn't
dude.
do it. Yeah.
So I had to let that shit go.
Well,
a little
it's
bit.
kind of, and it becomes kind of a meme in and of itself, right? Like so, like with the Joe Rogan, like so many people that don't know Joe Rogan, like the meme of the day became, "Have you ever tried DMT?" And it's like, yes, Rogan has brought DMT to a different crowd of people, but I hardly feel like that's what he talks about
I didn't
all
even
the
get
time.
that at first.
And he's asked
I was
the
like,
question.
I must have missed a few
And to be
episodes.
honest with you, it's about as valid of a question to ask somebody. In your top 10 icebreaker questions, it is not out of the, for me, like, have you ever blown your head open with a psychedelic drug before? Definitely lays at least sets some boundaries for where I think I can take a conversation
Totally.
with somebody.
It's a why in the conversation because actually it's got a couple different ways because yes, there's a whole plethora of ways you can go. No, but I'm interested. Boom. Another bunch of ways you can go. No, I don't like them or I'm against them. Boom. A whole nother series of directions you can go.
It's one of those things. If somebody hasn't been there, or they have bought in so much to the man, I don't need drugs in my like you can't even tell them what is perhaps some of the most significant things to ever happen to you as a person. So you get there, you tell this amazing story that's absolutely blown your wheels off, and then nobody gives a shit.
Okay, I just want to. When we went silent there for a second, could you hear anything in the void? Because we had a whole thing set up. So let us know if you can hear those little clips we're playing.
The deadline for the shirts,
yeah.
Brian. We haven't set one, man. Just wow us with something, babe.
Yeah, we want to get.
Don't procrastinate. We're not. It's due tomorrow. Work on it.
People have been asking us, well, what am I going to get my husband? What am I going to get my uncle? What am I going to get my stepchild for Christmas?
Probably some Hoosier Sophisticate gear.
We'd like that. There's a couple of good ideas. The Hooters.
I loved it.
That was pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
And even the owl, kind of Bohemian Grove, you can make it a little bit crazier. Make it
okay.
like a psychedelic owl.
Okay.
I'm just going to take everyone's idea, make it a little better, and then even better, Craig will make this even better, which is great.
It appears that I just got a restreaming deal that just said that our stream has stopped. We're going to keep recording.
Is that because we played? You think they picked up some of that?
I don't know.
It's okay. We'll F it. Our thing's still working perfect.
We're just going to keep going.
All right. Should we go into the spooky stories?
Let's tell some spooky
I
stories.
got some spook stories for everybody. Oh.
When's the time that you got
I'm just looking at your face.
totally
right now.
spooked out?
Okay. Well, I'm not really spooked out. I don't really believe in ghosts or anything like that. I'm not buying in on any of that. I've never had an experience. And even when I've thought I've seen shit out of the corner of my eye, I'm going to talk myself out of all that shit. Like, I would have to get a blowj. Like, fucking.
Like Ray?
Yes. So, that's a whole different thing. But I did have some, like, harrowing experiences. One time in college, I had a roommate named Jimmy Nugs.
Okay.
And
He's made an appearance on the show before.
And my other roommate was P. Skittles.
Okay.
And Jimmy Nugs.
Did you have a cool nickname or?
Steve. Steve. They called me Sleepo. Yeah, it is.
It's not. We're just gonna record it and post it. You're good.
Yeah, thanks a lot. No, thank you though. We need that. I appreciate you. So P. Skittles and Jimmy Nugs. Jimmy Nugs handled the nugs and P. Skittles handled the dope. They called me the Jackal. I was the driver, so I did have the nickname.
You were a wheelman.
I was a wheelman, so I got all the drugs I wanted as long as I drove them around. I'm like, this is the sweetest deal of all time. Of course, I'll take all the risk.
Yeah.
What am I, dumb? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if drugs? You could, I mean, if your superpower is fitting a bunch of stuff inside of you, then you got a good gig going.
But the whole deal is too. It was like a Chinese buffet. Where I got my money's worth. Okay, they're like, hey, you can do free drugs. I'm like, you want to see a guy do free drugs? I'm in the lowest point of my life. I'm about to do all the drugs.
No doubt.
I was in a low. So I was like, give me them all. So we drove around, and I had heard rumblings that they had robbed somebody. And Columbia's the smallest town. I mean, when Jimmy Nugs would sell, the weed would come back around to us, and they'd be like, this is called cat piss, and it's from this area. I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's the same story I made up.
Right.
The people who came and because I would just make.
Did you know that there's catfish that are the size of Volkswagen at Table Rock Dam? Did you know that?
Thank you.
You've heard it. You've heard the story.
You get it.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm like, okay, this is great. And we thought we were big swinging dicks or whatever. So apparently, and I was just who I am now. Just I wasn't like living the lifestyle by any means. I wasn't any tougher, cooler, harder than anything. Feel free to sprinkle some of those in there.
I will. I will.
So. One night it's about, I hear grumblings that the guys, Jimmy Nugs and his buddies from St. Charles, because fuck St. Charles. Just fuck St. Charles, okay? Please arrest him, because that's St. Charles. Arrest him. Arrest him. Anyone from St. Charles? Thank you. But so I'd heard rumblings that they had robbed these guys. And I was like, oh, that's so dumb, whatever. I didn't think it would involve me, even though I live at the place where they fucking brought this shit back to, So it's a subdivision in Columbia, Missouri. It's it's duplexes, but like brand new, It looked like fucking Fenton subdivision houses,
Right.
Really nice digs. And, for like $250 a month. It was fucking great. So that's where I was living. I was staying in the upstairs, but every night you could find a party pretty much there, pretty many people. Till all hours we would just watch TV. I remember we had like the first big screen. We had a projector, so it was always the place to come smoke blunts and fucking hang out. Like I had a fucking Y in the road where this guy who's like, hey man, me and my buddies, we're accounting majors or business majors, and we want to room with you. Yeah, I got to freshman year, and then Jimmy Nugs and P. Skittles come up and they're like, you want to room with us this year? And I'm like,
yeah.
Gee, let me think. These guys or these fucking guys? Okay. Made a terrible decision. So my life would be so different if that decision was made differently.
You think?
It would have set a different series. Maybe it would be in the same place now. I don't know with what I'm doing, but it definitely set
because the
lifestyle
environment.
Yes, the everyday. Because P. Skittles didn't go to Mizzou.
Oh, see, yeah, there's a lot of dudes that just make hay in college towns that never
Jimmy
never
Nugs
go there.
goes,
And like after they supply all the drugs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So we so P. Skittles was just from St. Charles slanging yayo. And Jimmy Nugs goes, oh, you want to sell drugs? You guys, I used to sell drugs in St. Charles. They actually sell themselves at Mizzou, where we would have people the repeat customers on coke, the idiot kids who are like, oh, we need a little bit. Oh, we need a little bit. Oh, we need a little bit.
God, it's such a devil drug, man.
It's the stupidest. I hated all the people around it.
It
all
is.
the people who
It's
loved
the
to hang
worst.
out and smoke blunts, loved them. Now there were some dirty hippies that just some dirty hippies
Sure.
like, you're living a terrible lifestyle, and here's a big bag of fucking nugs, and you don't even know. And it's like, shut the fuck up, guy. But then all the coke, even the people you liked by the end of the night, you're like, oh, you have nothing good to say ever.
Oh, it's because they said it all. They've said
nothing.
all.
Yeah,
They've said everything.
And the shit I had to say is pretty important. So you need to shut the fuck
You
up.
shut the fuck up, Koki.
So that became a whole deal. So it's 4 a.m. Me, a couple chicks, and this other dude, who's just a dude from St. Charles, just came in for the weekend. He's laying on a futon, and me and these chicks are sitting on the couch, of course. Yeah.
I probably got a lot of chicks showing up for me too.
I'm doing this to the 2 chicks. Oh wait, I mean,
I'm not sure those were chicks, dude.
Shit. Yes.
Why?
So the door opens up, and it's just the light of the TV in there, just the light of the big TV, and it's a big open area, big open kitchen.
You're in like a living room? Okay, gotcha.
We're in a living room. Living room leads into the kitchen. Then it's upstairs, all the bedrooms. There's one bedroom on the downstairs floor. So, big open floor plan, totally new subdivision look, new drywall, new vaulted ceilings, all that bullshit. And so 4 dudes just strut in there, dressed in black hoodies.
What time roughly?
About 3:34 in the morning.
Okay.
So the 4 people that are in there, and there are people sleeping in bedrooms. There are 2 other guys sleeping in bedrooms. P. Skittles in his, and maybe Jimmy Nugs wasn't in his. But I think someone had fallen asleep.
Okay.
Maybe someone from St. Charles. Because my plan was to wake them up. And of course they woke up. They were just like, pretend to fucking be asleep during this shit. So 4 dudes walk in and stand in front of the TV. And it's like, I felt like Jim Brewer from Half Baked, like, whoa. Yeah, like,
what are you doing?
What?
Can I help you guys?
Yeah. And I see their blades is like the one thing shining off of them, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, those are really tiny knives, but I'm like, I don't even want a little tiny knife in me. It wasn't like a fucking butcher's knife. It was just a fucking 3-inch blade that's a legal blade or whatever. And I'm like, oh, no one wants to get stabbed just in general by a butter knife, whatever.
Yeah, that's a shitty way to go.
So they're like, everyone, get on the ground. And again, all of us are just kind of like, what is going on?
Do you think it's a joke at this point? Do you think someone's fucking with you?
I'm trying to compute everything.
Were you sleepish?
And we had one dog. We had a pit bull there. So I'm like, oh, if this dog knows something's up, she's going to spring into action. And she didn't. She just started running around. That's why I was like, oh, she kind of knows these people. That gave me a sense of.
Okay, she knew the smell.
And then I could tell their legs, and the one dude walked, and the one dude who's like, hey, I was like, oh, I think I know who these guys are. I think I get it. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. So I'm trying to put all that together. I'm not scared. I am shocked. I am in a state of shock, but not like, oh, I broke my arm shock. Very calm shock. Like, let me address what's going on here. This is nuts. Then they proceed to just beat the shit out of the guy on the couch who was
man.
I know.
And this is like his first time just hanging. Like, this isn't his place.
Second time at Mizzou.
Oh man,
he's littler than me.
That's tough.
And he was the only guy sleeping. We were like barely awake.
They're beating on a sleeping man.
So he gets up. He's like,
oh, no.
hey, what's going on? Like doing one of those where he's facing the back of the couch. So I had to do one of those like, huh? Like looking back at them. And they proceed to just start punching the shit out of them. They don't stab them or anything, but they're punching them. 2 guys go over there and just
punch, like really wailing on them.
Almost.
In the head, headshots, body shots.
First one was headshots. Then he ducked down, and then they were just punching him on the back. Like the one guy was punching his legs.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay.
What are these? The little brother
leg punching.
I know.
Dead-legged him. That's fucked up.
And they were going to town.
It's like Charlie Murphy.
So again, all of us are kind of like, oh, don't do that. We're Jack Black and the chick setting the office on fire from Orange County. We're like, whoa, that's bad. Put that out, man.
Wait, stop.
So he's getting his ass kicked. I jump up because, of course, I'm always the guy I'm not really the guy who's got your back, but I'm the guy who's trying to distract people to get you from stop getting beat so maybe you can get your bearings and get your shit back, and maybe I can help you out. But if you're looking to me to help you out, beat up somebody tough,
No doubt.
I might not be that guy for you. I'll distract somebody or hold somebody down. And if someone's like my range or same, I'll fucking go toe to toe with them. But if you're asking me to fucking, Ving Rhames is in the fucking building, I'm not, I'll be like, whoa, I can be distraction guy where he's like, what the fuck's going on?
Banging on a pie pan.
Till you can get back up and give him one. So now they beat up that guy, and the other two people proceed to come to us, grab us, get us up, and they got duct tape. They just pulled duct tape out of their butts or whatever, and they start duct taping up our hands like this.
They're everybody, girls too.
Yep, the girls too. So they duct tape our hands up and duct tape around our heads. And as they're duct taping up the one kid they beat up, I noticed they duct tape around his nose.
So he can't breathe?
I'm like, they're gonna kill this kid. They're gonna accidentally murder. He's like, I was just trying to get out of St. Charles for the weekend.
Oh man!
So I'm not even supposed to be here.
He actually downgraded from St. Charles.
I know.
I'm only kidding, St. Charles.
No, St. Charles is the worst.
You've had some experience.
Yeah, I knew all these people.
You're a
It was
little
crazy.
sour on it. Yeah.
So I'm like, hey guys, you can't put it over his nose too. And they were like, oh, so again, I'm like,
They're not trying to kill anybody. They're just trying to scare the shit out of you
They're
guys.
just trying to get their shit back is what I'm thinking in my head.
Okay.
Because whatever they got taken
They
from
got
them,
they got robbed.
Yes. So a
And
part
they-
of me is like, that's what happens. You play with fire, you get fucking burned.
Play dumb games, win stupid prizes.
Thank you. So that I hear them go, and I'm like, they're like, is anyone else here? And I'm like, of course no one else is. There might be. People might be sleeping in here. I'm trying to scream it out so the other guys can formulate some sort of plan.
They jump out the window.
Hide their shit or do something. And so they just go rummage through all the rooms. They they had a couple duffel bags. They grabbed a few pounds of weed.
Did they fuck with the people in the rooms?
No, left them sleep.
What the
Left them
fuck?
sleep.
They beat the shit out of the guy on the couch.
He's the only guy I got.
who's never been there before.
After everything.
And the people that actually own the premises.
Everyone's like, man, that was fucked up. And everyone's like, whew.
And he's like,
we're fucked up. And we're like, sorry, dude. Never saw that kid again. He's a sweet little guy, too. I liked him. So they duct tape us up, put us in the bathroom, rummage through everything. I can hear them rummaging through everything. I saw them. They had duffel bags at first. Then they put us in the bathroom when they go through all the rooms. Obviously get whatever they need. So I'm in there. And, of course, I'm the first guy who's like pulling the duct tape off my mouth. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to fucking bust out of this fucking duct tape. And they're like, please don't.
just leave well enough alone.
We're in the bathroom. We're fine at this point.
Right.
There's nothing in here. And I'm like, no. I'm just in my own head. I'm going, just see if you can get out of this duct tape. This is an adrenaline,
no doubt,
soak into your adrenaline.
Yeah, dude.
fear.
I don't think a lot of people have been in this situation.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so just I didn't really even at this point. I'm like, you're not going to get killed. I again in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's this dude. It's this dude and his buddies that I know. So, and I didn't even really have beef with them. I kind of understood where they were coming from if they did get robbed. And so I have this big clunk of fucking, duct tape on my hands, and I'm going to rip this shit out, right? And, so I start getting it. I rip it with my teeth a little bit, and sure enough, yeah!
You're free.
I'm free, and they're like, whoa, did you get out? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go, I'm going to go fucking see who it is. Again, there's girls, 4 a.m. I'm like, yeah.
You're still running game, dude.
And John fucking Rambo.
you got a turd in your pants.
Totally.
You're
and I'm
running
like,
game. Good on you.
When this story comes to fruition, I want them to be like, he fucking that swole motherfucker just ripped out of everything.
He's like the transporter.
Yeah, exactly. Little thought up Jason Statham
Yeah,
motherfucker.
the transporter.
Okay, so I bust out and I had heard him leave, so I run out the front door, and by this time it was actually almost dusk, so maybe it was a little later than even 4 or 3:30, because at this point I felt like either that or it was a full moon, because I could see pretty good outside as far as the light being, even though this is a subdivision that had street lights, so maybe it could have been street lights too. I run outside the house. I don't see anybody. I'm like, okay, they're on the back street. It's the closest street. There was a house behind us, and then that street. Ahead of us was a bunch of bullshit. So I'm like, they got to be on that street. That's what I would do.
Sure.
That way you just walk out of the back of their house, you're there. You got to walk through somebody else's backyard, but it's open fences everywhere.
Right,
it's
right.
just subdivision openness. And so I see them fucking getting into their fucking green.
They still have masks on?
They had their hoodies on.
Okay.
And I guess because there's 2 dudes in the back, 2 dudes were already in. And so I see them like putting the shit in or whatever, just like their bags or whatever. They got like, we're talking dealing with pounds and pounds and pounds of weed, 50 to 100 pounds of weed for a shipment, and fucking like I don't even know how much blow. This is when I was 18. This is fucking,
Man, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So they got pretty much shit back. You know what I mean? Like I was like, ooh. Like, I'll be on your team. Like, I'll be on your side now. Like, you guys got a lot of good shit. So I'm running, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to fucking find out who the fuck this is. And so I start running, and I realize I'm running pretty quick.
And they're not taking
And
off
they're not leaving yet. I'm like, okay. I start to slow up a little bit, I'm like, oh, and I see them, and I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna see me that I've gotten free or
put the
whatever.
brakes on?
I put the brake. I'm like running back through the houses on the other side, squinting to see if I'm like, oh yeah, and it was just a green Explorer or whatever, and they peel off out of there, and I come back to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh yeah, and they're like, you think you can get us out of this fucking duct tape now, cocksucker? And they're all just still sitting, my dude with the bloody eye and shit still sitting there like, was it Steve? Oh yeah, just kind of sitting there. So that was pretty adrenaline filled fear factory type.
Dude,
shit.
that is a legitimately, that's a fight or flight moment for you.
Oh yeah, it was.
And what's weird is that you really didn't choose either.
Yeah, I know, it was a weird.
You were just like,
I think the timing being so late, like at night,
you were just
stoned,
caught completely off guard.
And the fact that I did think it was a joke at first, like a little bit, but then again, after I saw within 3 seconds, I knew it wasn't a joke. I knew it was something real. But then assessing
Did you guys
the situation,
find out who? Did they find out who it was?
Yeah, it was the dudes who I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was these fucking dudes who fucking were just other
Were
drug
they
dealers
in the right? Like, was it their shit?
They stole more than they got taken from them, but
they were stolen from first.
Yeah. And there was just some knuckleheads from St. Charles who would come find out what everyone was doing in Columbia and then figure out a way to fuck everyone in Columbia and go back to St. Charles. And be like, cool, our buddies moved to St. Charles. Let's go fuck them over and then we'll go back to St. Charles because that's so far away.
Yeah,
that's like
an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. So that was the problem. Everyone from St. Charles in Columbia was great. It was the people who fucking knuckleheaded around back in St. Charles who were like, oh,
they would like smash and grab. They would smash and grab Columbia. Dumb motherfuckers.
Cool. Man. And then they'd get people, hey, I'll if you help me rob these people, I'll give you a little bit. Oh, you help me rob these people. And I'm like, oh my. And people
that is just
to these fucking
damn.
clowns.
It's such a foreign.
It is too much.
It's such a foreign. Burglary theft has just always been such a foreign concept to me. Like I'm down for petty crime. I'm okay with being an outlaw. Yeah. But man, like there's just something about just fucking with other people. Like it's I think Seth Ferrani even had said on our show, like there's a big difference between being an outlaw and a criminal. Right?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And typically being an outlaw is kind of like doing things that are outside of the law that don't really fucking hurt anybody else or their property for the most part, like, and then you have criminal acts, which are like, it's just me fucking with you. And dude, there's just a code, you know? Like, no matter what side of the tracks you find yourself on, no matter what world you grow up in, like, there's still, like, an honor code. And the people who operate outside of it are always, they're like, dude, I have hung out with people that have probably done unspeakable atrocities. Fucking guys in bike clubs, you know, been at parties where.
Even some of the nicest guys they've told me some of the stories, and I'm like,
dude, I remember. I will never forget. I was.
Like,
we were in a car cruising around in spring. Totally, dude. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Like, even when we go to watch, George Christie's show at the Funny Bone, you're like, okay, and like those. But he still lived by a code. Like, a man's got to have a code, right? Like, and it's
that's no country for old men.
There is a different sect of criminal, of thug, of just just shitty person.
Yeah.
That is a thief and is like I don't know.
No,
it's just it's fucking strange. And I even had those buddies, and I get it, man. When you're younger, and you got fucking testosterone fucking fueled meatheads that just like they're still trying to assert their dominance. I'll never forget. I had this buddy in high school, and he was a bad dude. Like he went to they had like the SEAL camp type thing for high school kids that wanted to like possibly go in the Navy or something. Like he'd do like every summer. And it was like they would kick the shit out of these 15, 16-year-old kids and do like, it wasn't SEAL training, but it was fucking, it was, they're getting you ready for it, you know?
Dang.
He was just a badass kid, man. Like he was the dude that hit harder than a train on the football field. He was just tough, There's some kids that are just tough. I don't know which one that was. But I'll never forget. We were just cruising around in the car. We'd just gotten blow to the buddy's house. We were all having a good time. And dude, like his fucking thing was pull up next to somebody and just stare right past the dude at his girl, like just all the time. And it was funny when you're being a pissant or whatever. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I'll never forget. We were right outside of Bass Pro on Campbell Street. And we're at a stoplight, and he starts looking around this dude at his girl, and the guy's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you looking at?" And Andy's like, "You motherfucker, I'm looking at you." And he jumps out of the car and just blasts the dude's car door. And I'm like, oh, this went from like harmless fun to you're a fucking maniac in like 2 shakes of it. You were fucking totally instigated that. Like, what are you? You're not oppressed here because he asked you what you're looking at. He's supposed to. If he doesn't ask you what you're looking at, you're definitely gonna fuck his girl.
You know how you handle that situation though?
What's that?
So, you're looking at my girl in the car, and fucking she's on the other side. You're looking like through me to get to her. You just go.
I'm into it.
And look directly
in his eyes. Yeah. And just tell him the way you assert dominance back is, don't you fucking dare break eye contact. Don't you fucking dare break eye contact.
That's some good shit right there.
Man.
The only other time I've ever been really scared is one time I thought I contracted diabetes via intravenous needle. I thought that was a thing. I thought you could get diabetes through a needle.
Were you using a needle on purpose?
I was at my cousin's house and I was
accidentally
like 10,
touch a needle?
Yeah, when they used to do the finger thing.
Yeah.
And so my cousin left it out, and I'm like, this thing's fucking awesome. So
is it the one that like is like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was an old plastic one. That you hit the button. It was like, and so and I was like, fuck. And I'm living in the world of the AIDS, fucking hearing that shit. And I'm like, I got fucking diabetes now. And I remember thinking that diabetes might as well have been a death sentence for me because I didn't like fucking vegetables. The shit that I got to eat and that my cousin had to eat.
Yeah, you were living
was
large.
Night and fucking day.
Yeah.
Like Easter rolls around. He's like, I can have these glucose tablets that my mom specially got me for all the great events in my life, and I'm like, I got it all, bro. I don't even like chocolate.
I'm having pumpkin pie on top of my pecan pie.
Exactly. So I always felt bad for him. And we used to pound Vest soda, like at family events.
Yeah.
Me and him would steal 1 or 2 of the 2 liters that they had all set up at the group family table. We got
that was his thing.
Liters.
That was his vice, huh? Like he never got to taste the sugar.
We go hard. hard, and then found out like 3 years later he had diabetes. So I always kind of thought it was coming, but one night I'm fucking around with this needle. I busted open. Well, I'm in the throes of it all night. I'm puking. I'm sweating. I'm fucking.
Oh
I'm dying.
no! You've completely convinced yourself you're sick
so
forever.
My aunt's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I fucking got diabetes from Tommy's needle." And she's like, "Oh, you stupid son of a bitch! That's not.
That's how it works.
That's how that works." And I was like, immediately, I remember
really?
being a kid. I immediately became well. I was like, "Oh fuck, I ain't even sick anymore." Like, I was like, that placebo effect is one hell of a thing.
It's
man.
crazy, dude.
It nailed me to the point where, because I had heard that you puke. You get the sweats, that you piss a lot, like all these things about diabetes that I had heard that the aunts were talking about, being like, "Oh, Tommy's got it." And I was like, "I got it all tonight from the fucking thing." I had given myself all that shit.
You gave yourself diabetes.
And my aunt, who we weren't really close, she was kind of a scary aunt. She goes, "Oh, you don't, that's not how that works." And I was like,
dude, I figured out how to
sleep.
make, and our youngest is doing it right now. I figured out how to make myself sick at a fairly young age.
the time's running that way.
I love Ty Webb. I love Ty Webb.
Ty Webb, is that his name?
That was who he was in Caddyshack. Okay. He was a baller. But no, I mean, I remember being able to think myself into a fever.
That's
you
good.
know. Well,
my trick was a hot wash rag on my head.
It wasn't long until I actually loved going to school. Like I never really wanted. I didn't have like I didn't have game systems at home and shit. Like I didn't want to stay home. Actually, the best part of that was like I think when I got
went to school.
I went to the best sick memory I have was like getting chicken pox, and I had an old school computer. I had like
a pox on both your houses.
2D Commander Keen and Duke Nukem games that I would play on my computer, and I beat it that time. Like, that was pretty cool. But outside of that, like I wanted to go hang with all my friends. Like that was the whole
I
deal.
would for the first 2 hours. I'm like, fuck yeah,
this is awesome.
School,
sleeping in a little bit. I'm like, God, they're probably at recess right now.
Waking up at
playing
11.
soccer.
Fuck,
man.
Can I go to fucking school now, Bob? And she'd be like, "No, you blew it. Now get over here and milk me."
we had some we're talking about scary stories. Like I've got a few. Nothing like yours. That's actually, you're gonna talk about adrenaline fueled. I will say that I made a serious change. We're talking about the trajectory change. There was one group of friends that I hung out with fairly regularly outside of like my other group of buddies who are really, and still to this day, some of my best friends. I was a best man in one of the dude's weddings. Like all the guys I played ball with, like pretty straight shooters. I was kind of the black sheep of the bunch, like the only one that smoked weed, whatever. But with this other group of guys, like they were all kind of that thing, and they served that side of me that just wanted to do just a little bit of what people told us we couldn't do, But man, like it just got to be where there was just always a little bit of heat. Oh, so and so's got he's on an FBI list or something. I'm like, well, then why am I here?
No,
why am I here? I'm only 18. I'm not ready to just be done, guys.
The St. Charles Task Force was like following all those guys that would come back and forth from Columbia. So I'm like, oh, that's good. So I'm sure they have no time on their or no limit to the time on their hands to fucking go check out Columbia and see what us like. Fuck off.
No doubt. So I had the two of the most uncomfortable
Hawk Screech
times. The two of the most uncomfortable times I've had were with this particular guy. And I've also had some of the most fun times with him. That's how it goes, right?
That's the thing.
And he's a hilarious dude, and we'd hang out. We went to go see. I don't know if I told the story about going to see Snoop Dogg, Korn, Linkin Park. We go to Kansas City. He's got this really trick 1972 Monte Carlo. Man, this bad motherfucker had the white interior, the gold Monte. It was a cool ass car, dude.
White interior.
Oh yeah, it was slick. Dude. It was real slick. He went from a Nissan 300Z to that, like, and it was a dope ass car. He always had dope cars, man. Always had fucking fly cars for real. And so we got these tickets for Linkin Park, Korn, and Snoop Dogg. We drive up to Kansas City. And I'll give the real short version of this story. We drive up to Kansas City. First off, one of his cylinders wasn't firing on his car. So it was already a gas guzzler, right? Like, it was already like, you're lucky to get 7, maybe 8 miles to the gallon, maybe. Now it's missing on cylinder. We're getting like 3, maybe 4 miles to the gallon. And we have like $30 between the two of us to get to Kansas City and back. And I'm telling him, like, dude, the math doesn't shake, babe. Like, we're not... Fuck it, let's go. So we do. We jump in the car, we're driving up there, dude, and you can watch the gas gauge just do one of these things.
Oh my God.
We're like 17, 18 probably. We get up there, we have a fucking awesome time. The concert was great. We get fucking ripped. We're having a good time. It's awesome. We get back to the car. He left his lights on. Okay. So he leaves his lights on. The car is dead as fuck. So now we got to wait for everybody at Bonner Springs to clear out. And then a tow truck comes over, gives us a jump, whatever. We can't idle in traffic. So we're just going to wait until everything's gone. So now it's like, it's getting pretty fucking late.
And you can't fucking just let your car
We
run.
can't idle in traffic. And it's not one of those, like, it's a whole fucked up deal. And we're like, all right, so we're leaving there. We don't end up getting out of there until like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We still got to drive all the way back to Springfield. We get past Clinton, and dude, like the gas gauge, like, we're fucking flat out of money. The gas gauge is like, it is getting. That's where we had to be, horse. And we were gonna blow our way back to Springfield. So we're cruising, dude. He's getting really low, and he's like, all right, well, here's the deal. He's like, and his dad did time. His dad did hard time. And he was in a club. He was in a bike club, and he was a badass. He was a bad dude, had some friends and shit. And so he's like, he goes, listen, if we can get to Collins, he goes, I think, my dad, I think I know a couple people there. We forget. And this is kind of even before we all had cell phones and shit. So like, it was a totally different world. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but dude, we didn't have a fucking way to communicate.
We had to find anyone at any time.
We're in Collins, Missouri, which, by the way, is pretty much just one giant meth lab. This tiny town off of 13, about halfway to fucking Kansas City, and we end up stopping there. By this point, we end up rolling in there, but it's so late. We have to like just hang until daytime, until it's like a decent time to like So we just kind of chill in the car until the sun starts to come up, and we're coming from a Korn and Snoop Dogg.
You guys are fucked up.
Well, I mean, not even at this point. I'm fucking just over it. I just want to be home. But like, we're still making whatever, But like, we're wearing like giant fucking weed leaf shirts and shit, and we're walking through Collins, which there's tumbleweeds and shit rolling through this. Now nobody is out of their houses except for police just driving around,
just
and I'm
sure
like,
there's nobody like you walking
and
around.
I'm like, oh fuck, man, like what are we doing here, Sure enough, dude, we walk up to this shady fucking house, like garbage on the front porch, like just Jesus. And I'm like, what the fuck what am I doing here? He tells him the story. He's like, look, I think $20 will get us back to Springfield, and I will get you money up here next week. I will pay you back. People were cool. They're like, yeah, man, hard times, whatever. I got $20 I can give you. So it was really cool, right? Like, we get back in the car, we're high-fiving. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, we did it. Let's get home. We get home. And it was like, that was the story. But like, this type of shit just kind of always happened around him. And I remember we were hanging out one day, and for the most part, dude, I was very firmly like, I don't need to do anything else but cannabis because it does everything that I want it to do. I'm not interested in doing all of those other crazy drugs, guys. I just like to smoke pot, So one day he asked me, I think I blew off fucking class at Missouri State or something. He's like, hey, man, I'm going to go make a quick, he's like, we'll grab a beer or something. I got to go make a quick pickup. I'm like, yeah, okay. Cool, man. And
that's never a good sign.
So I get in the car with him.
Yeah, sure. You got something vague you got to do.
He drives over, and on North Glenstone in Springfield, there's this fucking.
What did he have to do?
pretty much. And so we drive over. There's this real seedy motel on the north side of Springfield on Glenstone called the Flagship Motel. All of our Springfield fans are probably familiar with it. And it's just, I mean, dude, it's an old, shady fucking motel. Yeah. And we go in there, and dude, there are two dudes that look like fucking straight Somali pirates.
Oh no!
And I'm like, and they've got like a suitcase on the bed. One dude's fucking passed out. I mean, yellow eyes, yellow teeth. Just I am not where I'm supposed to be in the world. Like, if ever there was a moment in my life where I'm just like a fish out of fucking water, and buddy, you know me, I like to, if I think I have a superpower, I'm a chameleon, and I was rainbow colored in a fucking black room, and I was glowing like that. I wasn't blending into shit. And like, these dudes are talking, and I think they ended up being from like, one of them was from like North St. Louis, the other one was from like South Side of Chicago. These dudes were fucking hard. Yeah. We had us two little fucking suburban white boys had no business being there. And I remember just being like, okay, when this is done, guys.
It's like that scene in Blow. And
it was so, so reminiscent of that scene where he puts the gun in his mouth. Yeah. So reminiscent of that scene where I was just like, please, dear Jesus.
And you got your knucklehead friend with you.
If you let me out of this, I promise I will never put myself in a
situation
priest like this again. Like, that's what I remember thinking at the time. And nothing happened. It was all good. And we got out of there. But I'm like, I just remember being like, dude, there was never like a formal break between us. It was just like a steady. I still love the dude to death. Still one of my roll dogs.
No doubt.
But I just,
You're glad he's
I
on
was
your
like,
team.
you know what, man?
Glad he ain't mad at you.
A little bit of distance between us is gonna go a long fucking way. And it really did change the trajectory, because right around that time, I mean, in the span of the same months, I was staying over in an apartment kind of over by campus. It's the same time that the cops came in on me, took all my shit. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm not that guy. I'm just the guy that just fucking, like, totally. It was all of these things that were compounding, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is like, is this who your grandfather would want you to be? Like, you know what? Like, I would have like these weird
dude, I'm still living in that place when I trip sometimes, because that's where all of my old trips were, the lifestyle I was living. Like, that's all I was like, I'm not this I mean, I can still eat mushrooms and not have to deal with all these people. Like, there's plenty of normies fucking out there.
Buddy.
Or what I considered normies at the time, eating psychedelics and stuff. I didn't have to live the fucking lifestyle, even though I'm so glad I did, because it reminded me of this story that when a guy similar to your guy from Colombia, fucking toothless fucking Hoosier, did meth out in the woods. Pretty sure he beat his wife, but if you met him, you'd be like, that dude's fucking cool and great. Just a good old fucking don't know no better, you know? We're driving around in my Taurus. He sees a fucking guy that he fucking owed money, or the guy owed him money. So we're driving the opposite way on this windy road in Columbia, and he's like, oh, I fucking know that dude. He's like, turn around. So I'm like, okay. J-Rob and fucking Rich are in the car. I fucking pop a U, because I'm like, okay, let's see what the fucking Dodge Stratus can do. I catch up to this dude. He's like, pull up on the side of him. I'm like, okay. And I pull up on the side of him. Now we're both going about 60 on this fucking road.
On a country road? Like,
and this dude's leaning out of his window going, motherfucker, I told you I'd find you. And I'm like, oh, the other dude's like super calm. And I'm like, oh shit. The other dude's reaches for a gun and is just gonna shoot the guy. He's this close to him. I'm like, Arr! The dude's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know anymore. At first I was like, yeah, go follow this dude for a second, whatever. It'll end where I can't catch this guy. Oh, it almost ended in a for sure murder, and the dude was like, why'd you stop chasing him? Then the dude's like, this Stratus is pretty quick. He's like, why don't we get back? We'll see what I forget. He had a fucking some stupid fucking car. I don't know. It was like a Taurus.
Pontiac
or maybe
Sunfire or something.
Monte Carlo or something. No, it was an old big body, stupid fucking piece of shit. Not even like, if you fixed it up, probably would have been nice.
Old Impala or something.
Yeah, but not even that big. Just something.
Yeah, I'm with
like
you.
a fucking Parisienne or something. And so he's
Grand Prix.
Maybe it was a Buick. I feel like it was a Buick. But he's like, I'll fucking beat that thing. And everyone's like, I don't know. That fucking Stratus can run. It's got a V6 and a slapstick in it. That thing can fucking get. That thing will get.
Get it.
It did.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
That's why the whole reason I bought it was because of that fucking skid. I thought it was hilarious. So I was like, I can say that.
I will absolutely have a drive a Dodge
So
Stratus.
when you're driving the little auto stick, you fucking get on it. So he's like, all right, we're going to do a road race at night. Me and you. We're going to go.
He's dead nut serious.
As serious as a motherfucker. And you know me, I'm like, motherfucker, I will. Shit, they won't even be able to find. I won't be able to see you in my rear view. Like, I'm from the
You're
city.
egging dude on.
I'm like a city country boy. You know, that's how I always played it. Like, I'm from the streets, man. Even though I'm like, what the
From
fuck?
the streets.
Yeah. So we take off. Of course, I have to stay behind this guy because I get in front of him, and he's gonna fucking pit maneuver me off the road.
Yeah,
to win
he's
this
gonna
race.
clip you. Yeah.
Yes.
Let him win the race.
Thank
Let him
you.
win the fucking race.
So he and he's barreling off to where I'm like, oh, he's gonna die.
He's just gonna take it into an embarkment.
Yeah. And I'm not even racing him at this point, and I just see his tail lights like aggressively taking all the corners, and I'm like, this can't be good. So I'm driving out there, and I realize I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know where I'm at, and I lost him. He had taken like a turn off the way we were supposed to go, and I'm like, where did he turn? So just to be a jackass, well, it took me like an hour to find out. I don't know if it's a phone thing or what. I don't even know if he had service or whatever out there. I didn't have a phone. And so it took me like an hour and a half to find this fucking hillbilly's fucking trailer in the woods. And he's like, I won by like an hour and a half. And I'm like, dude, I was fucking lost in the country. Like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? Guy
The cannonball run.
Could fix any piece of car.
I know 10 of those.
$25.
I know 10 of those dudes.
The car place would be like, that's gonna be $4,500. He'd be like, shit, I got a can of green beans and a fucking rubber band. That thing is gonna cost you 40 cents. I'm like, cool, you just saved me $2,500.
Dude, I lived with that guy.
He's a
I
best friends.
lived with that guy. I squatted at his place for just a short little minute. He lived in a little town called Halfway, Missouri. I may have told this fucking story before on here. I don't know. But this guy he's a gearhead, and he was a storyteller, and my God, did he tell stories.
How old?
I'm gonna say he's 5 years older than us. Yeah. Maybe 8 years.
That's
older
how
than
old
us.
this dude was.
Not much older than us, but kind of an old soul because he's only hung out with old motorheads and old, you know. And this fucking guy, and he, no shit, he was a mechanic for all mechanics. You know, this dude could fucking tune a fucking engine, man.
Get it.
And but at the same time, like with this dude. You want to talk about fishing tales? This dude's every story he told was a tall tale. He was fucking best friends with Pecos Bill. You know what I mean? Like he's just fucking he every story he told, like you're really believable for a minute because you're like, man, that is so specific.
Yeah.
That is so. And then like by the time it's all said and done, you're like, get the fuck out of here and then as you got to know him long, you've heard the story 30, 40, 50 times.
Yeah.
And it changes
change?
just. I'm in it now. I'm in the story now a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when he's telling somebody new, and I'm like,
I wasn't there.
How long has this been going on? So I'm staying with him for a little while. And he was the same way, dude. He had this fucking old Dodge truck, and he built the shit out of it, big old 360 in it, fucking on the back roads.
Driving 360.
We're talking back roads that are like 40-mile-an-hour back roads. He's driving 85.
Because that means you know the roads.
Yeah,
that means you're from there.
Right. You know, and like he's driving like it's a Porsche, and this thing is a 4,000-pound, a 4-ton fucking Dodge truck that's just a lead sled. Anyway, just to give you a little bit of fucking background on him. So I'm staying in his place for a little while. And in his living room, he's got this Project Harley he's been working on forever. Just in his living room. Like, it's fucking kind of on a motorcycle stand. Yeah. Where his stove's supposed to be is a big fucking Matco toolbox. There's no stove in the joint. On the other, like, where the fucking... He's got a microwave. And then he's got like where the other part, like where the dishwasher would be, he's got a cherry picker that's holding an engine just swinging there in the kitchen. This is the dude's house. And then outside of in his yard, it's a fucking junkyard. And he used to raise wolves, straight up raise fucking timber wolves. Okay. Why not? Right? This guy's a fucking maniac. So I'm going to live with him for a little while. And like one of the first nights that we're fucking, that I'm staying there, I get up and it was fine. Like I was a single dude. We just smoked weed and fucking watched movies and turn wrenches. Like we just good old boys.
Time,
out in the country, we might go pop some guns a little bit here and there, whatever. Like, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this isn't a forever thing. Like this has got, this is just where I'm kind of fucking squatting for a minute. And first night I'm sleeping there, buddy. It's in the middle of the summer. It's hot as fuck. Okay, no AC in this joint. Well, maybe like a little window unit. Okay. And it's hot as fuck. And I remember like didn't have much to eat in the joint. But we did have some of those little popsicles, like the little plastic, little
push pops,
freeze pops.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's like 2 a.m. I wake up, and I'm like, man, I'm sweating. You know how it sucks waking up in a sweat. It's the worst. I'm like, I'm okay.
I don't like being a little hot.
I know. Me either. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get a fucking popsicle. So I get up.
You are living the dream.
I get up at 2 a.m. I'm an adult. I can eat a popsicle whenever the fuck I want. So I go into the kitchen. I open the fucking freezer to go grab a fucking popsicle, and motherfucker, there's a head in the fucking freezer. Head. And I'm like, fucking slam the door back. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? It's just 2 a.m. I've been stoned fucking for the last 6 years of my life. And like, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. It scares
I'm sober.
It scares the fuck out of me, dude. And it was just dark enough in there. I didn't know what the fucking head was. So then I'm like, what the fuck? Shut the door. And then I'm
Monkey?
like, crack it back open. It's a fucking bobcat head, dude.
That's awesome.
It's missing an eye and its fucking tongue is hanging out.
Oh.
But talk about times that like I was like creeped out for a minute. I'm like, oh, I'm just living with the guy that's got a motorcycle in his room and fucking severed heads in his freezer. So that was fun. I was thinking about that. You're talking about that guy and it brought him up. And no,
that's the whole thing.
As far as like scary stories, one of the most fear that I felt was also accompanied with the most embarrassment that I felt.
Yeah.
And that was at a limo show in Vegas. And I was going hard, buddy. I was going real hard.
Well, it's a limo show in Vegas.
I mean, the limo show hadn't even started at this point. Okay, we're just in Vegas, and the first day, at any of these shows, it's stage, and you got to get these cars set up. I'm the only one that, since I came out of the shop, I'm a jack of all trades. I fucking make this mistake everywhere that I fucking work is like, yeah, it doesn't seem that hard. I can probably do that, And I end up taking on responsibilities that are not fucking mine, right? So it used to bring like a couple people from the shop, maybe a shop foreman or something, to kind of do the technical stuff on the cars there. But now that one of their salesmen had shop experience, certainly he can hook up all the inverters and all that stuff. And I could, and it was fine. But while all the other guys are like, fuck yeah, Vegas, dude, let's go play some roulette. Like I'm fucking hooking up buses and shit. Whatever, that's fine. But my buddy's like, hey, man, you want to fucking bump of this? And I'm like, yep. So whatever, dude. I just did a little fucking snooter. And I'm fucking wound, dude. And I'm fucking running around. I'm hooking up. I got like
hooking up other people's.
We got like 13 or 14 cars, and like, you know how fucking working with I'm not, apologies to all the union people, but like working with fucking unions at these trade shows, here's the cord. My car's parked over here. I need this much more cord. I got extension cords. I got extension cords for days. So I'm like just hooking shit up. This guy comes over. He's like, hey,
you can't do that.
You can't fucking plug that. We
got.
I'm like, you shitting me? I was like, okay, chief. Well, I need you to take all of this fucking grip tape up and move this cord over 5 feet so that I can plug in this bus so that we paid $13,000 for the spaceport. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. You want to do that? I'm like,
Okay.
I like, listen, I won't say. He's like, dude, you're on camera and everything. We gotta hook this shit up. I'm like, go fucking take a lap, would you?
Arrest him.
So arrest him. So I'm hooking these deals up. My buddy has got me wound for sound, man. And it was not coke, but we were wound up. We were wound up big time on speed, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. It's fucking made for a horrific time at this one time.
You had one of those caramel apples.
Yes, I bit right into the core of that thing and swallowed all of it.
Shit.
So I go, dude, I hook up all these cars. Well, I had just sold $147,000 stretched Ford F550 truck that we turned into a 240-inch stretch. It was the first one. So we were a QVM builder, which is a qualified vehicle modifier, which means Lincoln actually certified. We were a Lincoln certified deal. So when we got chassis that were specifically built by Ford Lincoln to be turned into limousines, there's only a handful of builders, and you have to build them to those specs. Yeah. And if you do, I mean, plenty of people build them outside of their specs, and they just. But with this, they got extended factory warranties, 4 years, 150,000 miles. Game works, man. No doubt. So we were debuting the largest QVM SUV to ever be, stretched before. It was cool. Except my customer was the first one to buy it, right? But my boss, God damn, he put me in a lot of
speed down the hole.
My boss, he just didn't give a fuck. Like, for him, he was debuting the fucking first 240 because the other one that they were supposed to take to the show wasn't done yet. They took my customers to the show.
Did they drive it there?
Oh, you have to. And that's okay. That's pretty standard. Like, to deliver, like, for deliveries on limos, like, I always actually recommended people to drive them because for whatever reason, it's just bad luck. Yeah, for sure. Like, you can kind of troubleshoot some shit and have whatever. So we get that there. My customer wants to know where his fucking truck is. And at this point, like, every time I'm going to my boss, I'm like, dude, you got to fucking give me something, babe. You got to tell me something to tell this guy, and so anyway, I'm kind of just blowing the guy off. I'm like, oh, it's almost done, whatever, blah, blah. We do have one here. It's, but it's not yours, whatever. So.
Oh, shit.
This is before, or I didn't, not here. I said, we do have one that we've built for the show. Yours is still in production. It's almost done. But really, we were taking, they were just going to flip-flop chassis, which is hard to do because you have a VIN and everything that, whatever. Anyway. So we didn't do anything illegal with the VIN. He ended up taking the fucking car. Anyway, so we switched the fucking bills. So I'm fucking, dude, I'm sped up. And if you've ever been up for a while on any kind of speed, like your words start to garble, right? And you can't fucking find anything. And it's the day before the show. He had told, this guy is one of my favorite. I love dealing with Canadians. I love Canadians. This guy's from Calgary. Nothing's that big of a deal. He's got every right in the world to be just fucking up my ass, And he is starting to be very kind, assertive Canadian, but he also kind of like, at this point, I was so fucking pinned that I was just like, buddy, look, I love you. And I don't know what to tell you, right? So I'm not even expecting him to come to the show. He says he might come, he might not. People don't just drop in on you in fucking Vegas, I don't know if he's going to the show. So we're setting up the day before. They haven't even. Oh yeah, I mean it's the big industry show. Gotcha. And so he shows up, I'm fucking in the deal, and one of the guys goes, "Hey Craig, there's a guy that's asking for you." And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, who's asking for me in Las Vegas?
No.
And I'm sweating. My hair's all fucking disheveled. Like I'm fucking running around.
Your best.
And I've been trying to not talk to anybody. I'm just hooking up limos. I'm just trying to fucking hook up limos. I'm not talking to the boss. I'm not talking to my coworkers. Meanwhile, my buddy, who's also wound up with me, he's just sitting back watching the show. He's sitting back watching the show, and I'm like, oh, who's here? And I don't even have time to prepare for who it might be. By the time I'm like, oh, who's here? I turn around. I've never met this guy face to face, but I see his fucking, his fucking name badge, and it says Peter, and I'm like, Dude, in that moment, I could taste my nuts. My fucking stomach was doing such hard flips. I was like, and so he's like, and I hear his voice, and it's this sweet Canadian voice. Oh, hey, Craig, you know, and I just go,
hey, Craig.
And behind me, okay, I'm talking to this guy. I'm where the camera's at. This, you know, and behind this is the guy right here that I'm talking to, and my buddy is in the background. He is dying. He sees me all garbled up, and I go, hey, what? Hi, Peter. I just got and I just go like this. I look at him and I go, and I just fucking bolt out of the place. I leave, dude. We're talking like a fucking $6,000 commission I had coming to me. I still got the sale. I still got everything. But in that moment, I was absolutely shitting a chicken, okay? This is the beginning of a tremendous weekend in Las Vegas where I have a good time. I never sleep the entire time we're there. I'm Johnny Saturday night by day 2. I'm over the garbledness. Everything's good. I'm rocking and rolling.
Craig, you know how to get over the
win
garble?
1,000. I give back 1,000 all weekend. All weekend chasing that fucking dragon. All fucking weekend. And so we get there, the same truck. Oh, I didn't tell you on the way there, like the truck did break down in Falstaff, and so like they had to tow it, and then there was something when I hooked up the inverter, we couldn't even get the light because we don't need the fucking truck to run to show the lights and everything inside. It's all hooked up to inverters. You actually can't run them inside because of the the fumes and everything. Gotcha. So everything. You hook up all the boards and all the tanks have to have less than a quarter tank, whatever.
Hey, everyone, start your engines. In
Yeah,
this
right now,
building.
rev it up. This is fucking Jim Jones. It's just like,
awesome.
everybody's fucking dead. So
Except for you guys.
Except for us, we're like, dude, why is everybody sleeping? Why is everybody sleeping?
I can run over these corpses super quick.
Yeah. So whatever. We have a good weekend or whatever, and we're like when we got it on the floor, beforehand, it was this whole deal. It kind of had to. We got it into the place, but by the time it was time to leave, it wouldn't start. And this is a 240-inch stretch F550. So we're talking about probably a 33, 34 foot SUV. And the only way to get in and out of this trade show room is, a corridor. All of these casinos are built like this, like where the UPS and the FedEx trucks come in. It's thin, buddy. Yeah. It is real thin. So we got to figure out how to get this thing off of the floor. We can't back our hauler up into the fucking... It doesn't work that way. We can't do it. It's too steep of an incline. There's all this shit. And I kind of jokingly, say, well, what we could do is we could park our hauler at the bottom, put the ramps down. Yeah. And I think, if we lined it up just right, we could probably all push this fucking thing as fast as we can down that hill. And we might be able to get it up onto the top of that flatbed because my boss didn't want to buy $100 winch. You know what I mean? We're talking about this is the type of shit that eventually led me for my exodus from the limo industry. I'm like, hey guys, we can go to fucking we can go to Harbor Freight.
That's what I thought you were gonna
We can go to Harbor Freight, get a winch, and pull this thing up. It's like $60. Like it's not. We can get 2 of them. Yeah. We can get 2 and pull them right up there. He's like, no, we're not gonna do that. I'm like, all right. Well, the other option is we just fucking hope that you got thin little ramps that the wheels go up on, and dude, they thought my idea was a good idea. I'm like, no, this is a stupid fucking idea, guys. I was kidding. Get a winch. What are we doing? We get this thing lined up. We have to wait for everybody to get out of the fucking joint, and we get this thing lined up in the back deal, and it was great because there was a couple dudes that worked.
So this thing is going up on the back of a truck.
It's got it. Yes, it has to go. Okay, so let me paint this out for you.
Yeah.
Up here is the show floor. Gotcha. Okay. Down here is the street. And they have like this very narrow fucking ramp that everything goes into. We're going to back our truck up to the bottom of the ramp and then put the 2 ramps down for the
And then
wheels.
it has to go up on
so
your
we have
truck.
to push this thing down this ramp with enough speed that it's going to get up onto the fucking truck.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world.
it's not the worst idea in the world, but if he let's talk about worst case scenario. He doesn't get all of the ramp with the wheel. It slams into the back of the flatbed. It totals the front end of that truck. Yeah. Or we get up a little bit sideways, and
someone gets pinned.
It gets fucking it tilts and it rolls the whole truck. Or it gets up onto the flatbed and you can't stop it and it rolls into the fucking There's a lot of scenarios because we're gonna be this is a big truck. We're gonna be picking up some serious fucking momentum.
Yes.
And our truck driver, the guy that drives the transport,
he's just got to start driving as his thing.
the guy that drives the transport, he sets the air brake. He wants to be the one that's gonna steer. And God love him, he should be, because he's like, look, I can hit the fucking ramps because it's a small target. He's got to get his wheels on both of these things. Like this is happening at 30 fucking miles an hour. Okay, Jesus. This is one of the. I swear to God, this is before this is like right as, YouTube is starting to pick up steam. This would have been a 100 million hit video because the odds of everything going right are fucking so. So hang on a minute. So we're sitting there, and this is meanwhile these ramps are like the receiving bay for the whole fucking Paris casino in Las Vegas. So there's a whole bustling thing going on here. In the other lane that comes up, there's one lane that goes up, one lane that goes down. We've got the UPS guy and the FedEx guy. They're pinned in until we figure out this situation. And they're as happy as can be to be pinned in because they are seeing what we are eyeing. Matter of fact, this fucking guy who works at the casino, he just happened to be on his break. He's playing fucking Candy Crush or something. And he's like, he looks up and he goes, wait, are you guys gonna? And I'm like, oh yeah. And he goes, oh, put that phone up. And I'm like, no, don't put it up. Just shoot a video of it. Yeah. So Nick, who is this older salesman, he's got hair like Wolfman. He's a fucking funny dude, man. He's always kind of got all the newest tech gadgets. And I'm like, Nick, record this, please. Yeah. Please fucking record this. And I thought, anyway, so we thought Nick was set up to record. Yeah. I was on it. I knew that this was going to be something that needed to be captured.
This is a moment.
We've got fucking a team of 8 of us that are going to start pushing this thing. Okay, we're all dressed in fucking our dress clothes.
How far do you have to go to the ramp?
Shirts and ties. Oh, at this point we are
up to the ramp.
Yeah, we're pretty close. We're 10 feet from the ramp. We want to get a little bit going because I think we got to get a little bit of fucking speed going down this thing. Because I mean, to get up on the flatbed sits about. Yeah, it sits about 5 feet off the ground.
God damn.
Okay, so we start pushing them. We're all dressed up, dress shoes, ties, shirts. I roll up our sleeves. We're gonna fucking do this shit. Here we go, boys. 1, 2, 3. We dead.
Someone's in the driver's seat.
The truck driver from the transport is in the driver's seat.
He wants to take the fucking.
Yes. He's gonna hit the Godspeed, buddy. Because if we miss, that airbag's gonna blow his head off. I mean, we're talking Earnhardt to the wall. Yeah. There's no give. He's gonna fucking hit this flatbed and he's done. Yeah. We are fucking booking down
and
this.
And are you guys all behind it?
Yes, we're there's 3 of us behind it, and then there's just some other guys just kind of running along the side of it. Yeah. We're pushing it, dude. We are fucking cooking. Dude, we are cooking down this ramp. And the ramp is probably 100 feet, So we are cooking. I mean, and we're talking every bit of
running.
We're moving so fast now that the truck is kind of out of our hands. It's got some momentum. And I'll be goddamn, dude. He hits those fucking ramps and that cocksucker hits up on the flatbed and fucking just sits perfect. I mean, 18 inches or 8 inches on this side, 8 inches on this side. Perfect dead center, fucking nailed it, dude. Could not believe it. Air brake lets loose on the transport. Nick, who I thought was videoing, right? He's like, oh God, his old man, right? He's trying to catch the fucking truck. I'm hauling balls, okay? Old swivel hips Kohler comes out of retirement, okay? I'm fucking hauling. I'm like, oh shit. It was exactly like this. We push it. It hits the ramps. It lands up. We go, yeah, oh shit. And like we went from fucking excited to runaway fucking trailer. The driver's in the fucking limo. So this fucking thing is just taking off down into the fucking.
He's trying to steer. He's like, I can't.
Into the busy street. Nick's trying to like. This old man, he's trying to like jump up into the fucking cab. I grab him. I throw him on the ground. Throw myself up in the grab. Or throw myself up in the cab and just lock the brakes up. And traffic's just blowing by me on the street out in fucking Vegas, dude. This far away. I have never had so much adrenaline pumping in my entire life. My dad was there, which is it's one of my favorite memories because my dad, towards the end, after he'd left the family business and everything, I had him delivering limos and shit for me. So it was actually kind of a cool trip we got to take. He took he took a car out there for us. He was going to drive a car back for us. And so in my downtime, I got to fucking hang with my pop a little bit. We got to go do some stuff. We didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, so we couldn't really. But it was cool. Yeah. We went there. We found the cheap sandwiches. We played some cheap slots or whatever. It was neat. I would have loved to have done it bigger another time. But the fact that he got to, because he was observing this shit too. He's like, all along. My pop, he's like, get a fucking winch. What is I know. And we'd all been the victim of the owners penny pinching, like stepping over a fucking dollars to pick up pennies.
This is the reason why you need a wench.
Yes, and like that's exactly
what fucking fails.
My dad's sitting with the guy who put the Candy Crush up because this guy's talking to my dad. My dad's like, yeah, this is if you only knew how fucking common dumb shit like this was, dude. So I go, Nick, like, dude, we are celebrating like we have never celebrated before. We just did, and like it doesn't even sound significant, but what we did was like to us 10 people was the biggest undertaking because there were so many variables that could have gone way bad. And we weren't even thinking about the fucking.
Well, that's good that
thing
you guys
popping out of gear.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just my quick goat thinking, I'm sprinting in fucking Italian loafers, just fucking, dude, lock it up.
That's awesome.
We get up there, dude. We are fucking high-fiving. Yeah. We are fucking freaking. I'm like, I grab my little fucking sawed-off fucking boss, and I'm like, motherfucker. Was he
there watching it?
Oh, he's watching the whole thing. He's watching the whole thing. And I'm just like, motherfucker.
Jesus Lord.
Come on. What are you
awesome.
doing? Yeah, what are you doing? But we are all we're laughing so hard.
You don't get any more of those.
The roller coaster of emotion that took place where it was like I was like just full of doubt. Like this is the worst idea ever. To all right, fuck it, let's do it. To all right, boys, here we go. We're doing it. To fuck yeah, we did it. To I love shit. No, we just lost it. We're done. And then to save it, dude, we went back up to the room. Each of us fucking had our own bottles. We were fucking cheersing with the bottles. And it was time to get loose. It was the last night in Vegas. It was time to get fucking after it.
Like
my dad was actually ended up riding back. He was going to catch a ride back with the because he was going to drive the F-250 back or the F-550 back if it was good, but it was broken down, so he rode back with the deal. Nice. So just to fucking put a bow on it, I'm checking in with my dad. We're talking, and we're still up in the room laughing our asses off. I can't believe we did this. My dad's fucking laugh. My dad calls me with enough time for us to get across the fucking casino up to our rooms, changed. We all congregate in another bedroom. My dad calls, so it's been about 30 minutes, and my dad is laughing as hard as I've heard him laugh in fucking as long as I can remember. And I'm like, I can barely understand. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, yeah, fuck, it's a $70 winch. I'm like, Dad, I know. He's like, no, you don't get it. When you guys pushed it up on the flatbed, the whole fucking bed shifted, and it punctured a fucking hole in the gas tank of the fucking transport, and we're getting like 2 miles to the gallon. We're gonna. They had to go get dude. It ended up costing thousands and thousands of dollars to do that
No
with what you know what I mean? Like
doubt,
it's so like
dude.
even though we did this great thing, it was still like you see you dumb fuck,
you
just
fucked all the internal organs of that other
you
truck.
just ruined your transport, you fucking goofball. So that was about as scared as I ever been seeing
That's
the fucking the brakes break loose.
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
I don't know if I ever told
Yeah,
it. So I get out. I'm like, Nick, please let me see the video.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh okay. Oh fuck. I was taking a picture. I'm like, so he's got like got like a picture of us just like pushing it, and that's it. And I'm like, Nick, we could have been millionaires, buddy. We could have been millionaires.
Think of where we'd be at right now.
We could be fucking
God
doing
damn
this. Son of a bitch. All right.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, guys. We just didn't want to leave you fucking with nothing this
was
week.
Great too. You guys are gonna
Stream
love
of
this.
consciousness. I don't know.
I
Let's
think
tell
I'll
some
laugh.
funny stories. Oh, buddy, you had me fucking dying.
Good.
All right, listen. Let's
Hit him with some stuff.
yeah. Before we go, let's see here. How about listen? I tell that story, and anybody that wasn't there, they don't get it. Yep. They don't get it. You know, it's like. You know how it goes, brother.
We got all technology coming for you guys. CBD Canvas Boutique and Dispensary, Lifetime Roofing, Roof,
James Carlton, State Farm,
Truman. Just go fucking visit them all. You know what I mean?
They're all fantastical to some degree.
We love them all. They let us do this stupid shit, and we're gonna try to keep getting better for you guys.
It's the least we can do. Well, listen, we found a soundboard, so now we can really fucking just really
idiot.
get under your skin.
Worse. Yeah.
Guys, Hoosier Sophisticate, you all are the fucking best. We love you. Thanks for tuning in, checking it out with us. We're gonna see how this recording thing works because the live stream thing only worked for 13 minutes according to Restream.
Restream only gives it.
Maybe that's what's fucking us all up. We only
Yeah,
get so
it
many
changed.
minutes spread out among so many platforms.
I don't know.
I don't think that's what it is. Guys, we love you. Happy Halloween. Make sure to search all of your kids' candy and do an eye test to make sure that they're not laced with heroin. What the fuck? You see that story? Can we just do that real quick? There's a story just came out the other day. Oh, some candy tested positive in New Jersey for heroin.
Apples.
How did the kid's mom know?
I don't know.
No, here's what I want to do. Every time they share these fucking stories, I want every single citizen to take every single piece of candy to their local police department. I want them to ask to have every single piece of candy tested with the stipulation that any candy that doesn't test positive for drugs, the state, has to replace it with a untouched piece of candy. And let's just see how much the fucking police departments are encouraging these stupid fucking fear campaigns. Nobody has ever in the history of time, especially the heroin one really pissed me off. I'm like, you know what I fucking talk about? First off, no one's giving away their expensive edibles. But like, would you know if a Snickers bar had fucking heroin in it?
I could see maybe
Would you see it if someone took a syringe with just a little pinhole into the fucking wrapper and fucking hits? No, you wouldn't. They're all stupid, bullshit, unbelievable stories.
But I think people's drugs maybe from their own house, like if the parents were using drugs and knocked it over into their own kids, like
that
shit.
Just seems so far fetched. I would say if it ever happens, yes, you're gonna find a story where it's like fucking Florida Man.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like no, it wasn't given out to the kid. It was already in his house.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That happens.
That's what I was
that
saying.
happens. People don't give them away like
Oh fuck! That's where I hid those drugs.
All
Okay,
right.
in the pillow sheet.
Listen, Steve and I were put here to do one thing and one thing alone.
Do we have the ending? We don't have the internet.
Ending.
Oh yeah.
Good night, everybody. Happy Halloween.